Hey, morning, everybody. Yesterday, I did a talk with Dr. Hank, and if anybody's interested about a talk, it's here on my business page. You can connect with it on YouTube, on his channel. I believe it's like Access Wealth Success. I believe is what his page is. But I was doing a talk and we were focused in on the power of our words. We were talking about living an orgasmic life outside of the bedroom, what orgasm really is about, and about being in a turn-on state and what that means. Like, how do we achieve that? And I was running around thinking about different things, and I've got just, so many things going on in my personal life right now that just has me kind of just going, how do you keep that turned on state? How do you keep, moving forward, elevating yourself, keeping focused on the positive, not getting stuck in worry, in fear, in anxiety, in the crap of the past, or the fear of what is to come in the future, which is what we were discussing yesterday. And I gave a lot of tidbits yesterday in that interview. But as I was sitting here this morning drinking coffee and going, am I going to do conscious coffee or not today? And here I am doing conscious coffee, right? I realized that one of the major components to us being happy, and that's what it's about. At the end of the day, anything that we are wanting for, anything that we are looking at, we're wanting to achieve more money, we're wanting to achieve better health, a better body, we're wanting the lover in our bed, the money in the bank, we're wanting all of this stuff, right? And why is it that we want it? It's because we're looking for an emotion that we don't currently have. We're not having it in our current day-to-day, moment-by-moment life. And that emotion is happiness. That emotion that we're looking for is joy, is happiness, that we feel fulfilled, that we feel content, that we feel connection. When we say, I am in love with my job, I am in love with this person, I am in love with my life, we are saying that we are happy with everything that's going on, or we are happy with this piece of our life, right? So it is happiness, joy that we are all striving for at the end of the day. Well, that is an emotion, right? Now, you get stuck in different situations, like I've got a daughter whose little one is in the hospital right now, has been for, since mid-October. We're going on way over 100 days of her sitting in the hospital with his heart and everything. It's not even 2 years old. I got another daughter going through custody stuff, right? I've got, kids going through all these different things. And then there's the personal world things as well that's going on. The recent loss of my mother, a breakup, but then a startup of a new relationship, business stuff, looking at moving houses, all these different transition points. And that's what they are. They're all transition points. And it's really easy to get caught up in the fear, in the pain, in the drama of any of it, especially when we feel like there's so much coming at us. It's this tidal wave of crap, right? And I share this because here we are coming out of 2020 into 2021, right? And so many people spent 2020 with a tidal wave of crap on their butts, where they were just like really, really being impacted from the loss of jobs, losing their retirement funds, losing their homes, having relationship breakups, astronomical relationship breakups because of all the financial stress, because of the financial stress on the world, on themselves, on everything. There's so much pressure right now. And my message to you today is that if you're wanting that happiness, you're striving for that way, that emotion in your life, and you want it in the here and the now, what's something that you can do? What's something very tangible to take you from this space of OMG, right? Oh my goodness. Oh my God. In other words, I'm trying to keep this conscious coffee clean. Trying, practicing. But what can we do that will help us to get into that happier state? Now, we can't go from suffering to happiness, okay? It's too high of a jump. we can't do that overnight. Well, we can do it overnight. We just can't do it in the second. Okay. So how do we move from pain, suffering, worry, anxiety, fear, frustration, irritation, anger to a space of happiness? We have to move up that emotional pole to get closer and closer to it. And one key thing that we can do, and here's the thing, one key thing is pay attention to our outside sources. Pay attention to what is coming in. What are we programming ourselves with? And, right now we live in this time where we are scrolling through Facebook, right? That's how you got here right now. It came up on the feed probably. We're scrolling through YouTube, might have come up on the YouTube feed. Scrolling through Instagram, might have come up on the Instagram feed. And we're looking at it. And you're reading the CNN reports, you're reading the MSN reports, you're looking at Fox. If you're not scrolling and it just popping up, well, then you're probably researching it. If your phone operates anything like my phone, you get daily updates, right, of what's going on. What's the political thing? What's the COVID thing? What's the economic thing? What's going on in your, how many cases in your area? What's the update? What's the update? What's the update? And we look at it and we go, well, that's just educating ourselves. That's us getting educated on what's going on common events of, the popular events of right now. What is happening right here? And we feel like we really need to be educated around it, right? And we do, okay? We do. But the problem comes when we focus in more on that negative, fear-based programming that is coming to us, then consciously, because we do that stuff unconsciously, okay? We focus in on that unconsciously. It just pops up on our phone. It just pops up on the news feed. It just comes through with our friends, right? If we come home and we turn on the TV, or, what's going to happen? We are going to get quickly aware of the negativity in the world, and that is impacting our life. What's happening in our neighborhood, what's happening in our city, our town, our state, our country, our lives. And it's all negative based. So that negative programming that we are unconsciously and consciously feeding to us has a severe impact on our state of happiness. When we are running around and we're just cycling in our head all the negativity all the time, how can we ever get to a state of happiness? We're going to remain right here at this low frequency, at this low vibe, because that's what we're programming in consistently. And when we're not watching it, we're thinking about it. Okay? We are thinking about it. I've done a few appointments over the last week with different people and phone calls and everything. And what I keep coming up against with different clients of mine and even friends is that, oh my gosh, well, did you hear this? Did you hear that? Somebody just recently told me, oh, well, now you need to wear 2 masks. 1 mask isn't enough. Oh my gosh, now we got to start wearing 2 masks. How am I going to wear 2 masks at the gym? How am I going to do this? Oh my gosh, there's the new strain of COVID. Oh my gosh, what's Biden going to do as a president? Oh my gosh, 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 oh my gosh. So we sit like this because we're unconsciously programming ourselves into that tightness. Well, you're never going to birth happiness. You're never going to birth success. You're never going to birth wealth. You're never going to birth, your ideal partner, your ideal business, lifestyle. You're never going to birth freedom from a place that is so tightly harnessed. And when we live in that harnessed state, we have bound ourselves. And it is that we ourselves have chosen to pick up the shackles. Okay, we have chosen to pick up those shackles and put them on ourselves because we're programming ourselves through these outside resources, okay? And we look at it as though it's education. And that's, I mean, if we got into like a little bit of Christianity here, where is the devil at? Well, the devil's in the details. The devil is right there. The best lie the devil has ever told is to make us, number one, believe that he doesn't exist. And number two, to show up as our friend, as something that we should trust, as education, right? And yeah, we need to be educated, but when we really get into it, is that education serving us or is it shackling us? Because when education shackles, it's not education anymore. It is now handcuffs. And it is the handcuffs of fear. It is the handcuffs of anxiety. It is the handcuffs of separation, which is what our world is really focused on right now, is that separation of each other from self to self, And what does that do? When we separate from our neighbors, from our friends, from our family, and I have so many people doing this. They won't connect with their family. They won't connect with their friends. They won't connect with their own children. And that separation in those levels is also causing separation with us. And what that means is that separation with self, we are not going to have. All relationship relates back to a spiritual relationship, okay? So if we're separated from our fellow neighbor, our man and woman out there that we are relating to, right? Because we are fearing them, then we are fearing our family members. We are fearing ourselves, and we are fearing God, source, universe, whatever the term is that fits for your spiritual belief structure. We're fearing that source energy, the creator. We are not putting the trust there. We're saying, I'm disconnected, because you don't get to just be unaligned in one area, okay? You're unaligned. That's why you're feeling that rigidness inside. That's why you feel the fear, because you're not in alignment to source energy. You're not in alignment to your soul, to your core, okay? And that is what causes that anxiety and that fear, that frustration, the anger, all of that. So here we are, that emotional pull, right? Down here, we're in suffering, we're in fear, we're in anger, we're in depression, we're in anxiety, we're in all of this stuff as a world society. And a lot of people right here, right? Now, we can have a lot of bad stuff going on in our world, but we do not have to reside in suffering and fear. We're going to feel it, but it's there to tell us, whoop, right there, you're not in alignment. You're not exerting faith. You're not exerting certainty, okay? You're shackling your power right now. And that's what happiness, that's what joy, that's what love is. It's power, it's connection, okay? So it is really looking at that. How are you shackling yourself? And that's the question that I want to bring to you today is, how are you shackling yourself by relying on the education of outside sources instead of really truly looking at what your heart and soul is saying? What are the messages of spirit? I'm reminded consistently that God is always talking to us. Spirit source is always speaking to us. We are the ones that are going, no, okay? We're the ones that are plugging our ears and closing our eyes to it and saying, no, I have to live in bondage. And that's what we have to remember, is that our free will is so freaking powerful. Look at that. I did it without the F word. Yeah. All right. Our free will is so freaking powerful that we get to choose bondage. Okay, we get to choose bondage. That's how strong we are. That's how free we are, that we get to choose our own bondage. Whether that bondage is in our fear of connection to the world, to society, to our neighbors at work, our family, or that bondage is staying in an unhealthy situation, relationship, workplace, environment of any kind. Or that bondage is to keep putting all the wrong things into our minds, hearts, and bodies, because we choose that bondage too, right? When we are unhealthy in the physical capacity, that's us putting the bondage on ourselves by our poor choices. So that's us hooking ourselves up, chaining ourselves down, and not accepting the reality that everything is entwined. Everything is woven together. We don't get to have crappy thinking and put great food in our body, because those crappy thoughts are going to create crappy emotions, which in the end is going to cause wear and tear on our physical bodies. All the healthy food on the planet, that's just like a Band-Aid, okay? So you can exercise and you can feed your body great stuff and live organically and do all this kind of stuff. And if you're just pumping in bad stuff into your mind and into your heart, and you're living in this nasty state and bitterness, right, and fear, then that's going to take a wear and tear on the body. So you don't get off the hook there, right? You don't get off the hook by any means on anything. The first step to finding your happiness is taking responsibility for your lack of it. And that is a tough place for any of us to be. It is, it is just one of those spaces. But I can tell you that the power is in the responsibility. The power is in the realization that we have shackled ourselves and that we are that powerful to do that. And that is our freedom to do it. And I encourage you today to look at how you're shackling yourself, what kind of outside sources you are allowing to educate you and to speak to you their truth when it doesn't feel right at your heart and soul. Because you're here to thrive. You're here to live an abundant, prosperous, beautiful, happy life, not one that is based in suffering and fear and anger and anxiety. And when we get into those states, that's just simply saying you're not in alignment with who you truly are. You're not in alignment with God. So look at those things today, okay? All right, on that note, let me see, I guess I should do just an announcement video later, but I think that you're going to be definitely seeing, I was talking to my partner today and just telling him, hey, I think I've really got some clarity as to what direction 2021 and the future 5 to 10 years might be for my coaching business and everything. So I want you guys to realize that you're going to be seeing a lot of freedom-based coaching coming out. You're going to see a lot of focus on health, wealth, and success, on that right there, which is happiness. And how do we achieve that happiness? How do we achieve that freedom-based life? That fuck yes life. Oh, I said it. I said the big word. How do we receive that fuck yes life on a day-to-day basis? How do we live it moment to moment? And that's what we're going to be focusing in on over 2021 and future years for sure. So definitely focus in on your fuck yes life, on your freedom-based living. I love you guys. Remember, you are worthy of living a dynamic, powerful life. You are worthy of happiness, joy, the lover in your bed, the money in the bank, the health, wealth, and success, the freedom. That's what you were born for, not to sit around and just figure out how to pay your bills and struggle and live in anxiety. No, that's a bunch of bunk. And that's what those outside sources are going to be feeding to you. So it's time to claim your life. It's time to claim your happiness and live abundantly, unbound, and free. I love you guys. Remember, stop existing, start living, and I will catch you on the next Conscious Coffee. Bye, everybody.